Good evening, everybody. It's Cliff London. And let me just tell you guys, it's the little things in life. Being home from fucking work, especially after being on the train and being on your feet all day, like this chair, my post-apocalyptic-esque man cave that you can see behind me is like the greatest place in the world. So I'm really glad to be home. That being said, the video, what I want to talk about in this video today is a man named James Shoop. I believe it's James Shoop, or he probably says something strange like SHUPE. If you don't know who James Shoop is, James Shoop is the first person to be legally recognized as non-binary. Now, I don't know how many years it's been in between that recognition and what I'm about to tell you. So, what I read today per the Epoch Times is that he changed his mind. Yes, James Shoop changed his mind. Now, this is after all the legal wrangling to get this. I mean, I think that this case was in the courts for a while. This man trying to fight for his right to be who he wants to be. Now, the reason why, when I saw this headline, the reason that made me think that this would be a good thing to talk about was that, all my life, in case you don't, all my life, I've always heard that these things aren't a choice, that you just know it's something we don't understand. I remember in the 90s, they were even trying to say there was a gay gene. Not that non-binary and gay are the same, but they do kind of fall in, they are in the same culture as far as, especially as far as the left. They're trying to act like they don't have any rights, but that's another video. But what got me about this is that, because of hearing that all my life, and even when I was involved in the arts, yes, I used to be, a dancer until I got hurt. And one thing, and so a lot of them work in that field. That field is about 75%, it's one thing that I definitely, had my run-ins with, and I had to tell people don't try me, those situations like that. But, anyway, one thing that I did learn, befriending, some of them and getting to know them better is that they always said, you just know it's in your soul, you don't choose it. Now, that's not the only theory that I've heard. I mean, I've heard that, another friend of mine thinks that you are born with both tendencies and society makes you choose. Interesting. I don't agree with that, but it's interesting and it's worth the ponderance. Nevertheless, I mean, for him, it's worth the ponderance. I already know that I'm all about the ass, all about the pussy. So I'm not really tripping. But what really gets me about this is that since these people have been piggybacking on the civil rights movement, trying to emulate those things and pretend that that's in the same realm is a bit insulting. Furthermore, society-wise, it's even more insulting to preach and fight for acceptance, for people to accept an ideology or to accept a certain lifestyle. And hey, by the way, I will always say this, whether I agree with it or not, it doesn't matter who you choose to love. Who you choose to love, race, color, creed, they could be into some S&M shit. I don't give a fuck. Live your life. I support you. However, this brings up the question of, is it a choice? Not just is being binary, non-binary a choice, but this opens up the floodgates for other stuff. Okay, if he can choose after all these years to go back, because that's what he did, by the way, after fighting to be non-binary, this guy's just changed his mind. And not only did James Shoop change his mind, ladies and gentlemen, but he did a total 360. He was saying all kind of things that he said the whole and I'm paraphrasing here. If you want to read the article, it's in the Epoch Times. Just type in James Shoop, it'll pop up. And yeah, we were talking about the choice. Now, this opens up the floodgate for all these things. Is being gay a choice? Is being bisexual a choice? All these things. Now, I think Dave Chappelle was touching on some of this, and here it is, right here. It's real, everybody. I love that special. If you haven't seen it, see it. But that's what that's where we're at. This floodgate of all these questions that now, we should be asking. Not we should be asking, but society should be asking, because there's been some people that have lost their jobs. Okay, there have been people that have been run off YouTube. There have been people that have been shunned. There are people that lives are never the same. I mean, for example, how they're fucking over Kevin Hart. I mean, I know that he said some stuff that some blacks might consider him being Uncle Tom. I mean, he went a little bit overboard, but hey, still, he can have his opinion. It doesn't mean, you can't take his card away. The shit don't wash off. So, let the man have his opinion. But they came at him for some shit that he said years ago in a comedy sketch. And these people act like they can't be made fun of. Every time I was around my gay friends, most of the time what they did is talk some shit and make fun of somebody, what they were wearing, if they were fat, if they were skinny. Now, one could say, I'm not saying I had one. I mean, I was part of a dance troupe for a while, and I was also an actor. So believe me, there, and again, long as you let them know from jump not to try you, you'll be good. But I had time to observe, and I had time to watch. And, I was there with all the crying and the drunkenness about how society don't get it, that third. Well, here we go, people. All of you out there. All of you out there that have called a person's job or gotten a person fired from their job or accused somebody of being homophobic or gotten pissed at someone because they referred to as a choice, I want you to ask yourself, what do you think of James Shoop? Okay? Because I think this brings up a societal question here. I think it's fucking hilarious that this guy was like, no. And it's one thing. I mean, he fought. Oh, yes. Okay. He also fought. Okay. Well, he didn't have to fight too hard, but he went back to court to get his legal status changed to male. So he didn't just say, I changed my mind. No, he went through, and furthermore, he went on to call the whole industry a fraud. What he called it was the transgender industry. Because I guess first that he called it a fraud. I guess first that he was transgender. He also said because of he started doing the whole transgender thing and saying that he thinks he's a woman, and that the whole non-binary thing is because he was going through a tough emotional time. And he didn't specify what the tough emotional time was. We don't know if a family member died. We don't know what happened. But I don't know of anything in life to that traumatic to all of a sudden make you say, I'm a different gender. Some fucked up shit happened to me. I got a dick, but inside that dick is a vagina, and inside I'm really a woman. And they be, talking like, I'm really a woman. And I don't know who they think they're fooling with those voices, by the way. I don't think that, let's have it up in the air, okay? Be honest here, I can't be inside someone's soul or someone's mind, so I can't talk about the choice inside. But what I can talk about is when they get this voice and try to, doing all that feminine behavior, that shit's learned. Okay, that shit is learned because there are plenty of butch ass dudes. That's what they mean by butch is a term that I don't know if the kids are using it, but butch is a term for a gay man that you did to, be straight. He seems straight. They call that shit butch. Okay, now, so that shit's not part and parcel. The kind of, I don't know if you ever used to watch Living Color with Jim Carrey. He had that, when you mess with Maricosa, you die like the rest. And he would, well, that's what all, when they try to do that voice, the drag queens and stuff, they all sound like that. You don't sound like chicks. Hedwig didn't sound like a woman. So I don't even know why. I guess that's part of the drag thing, the voice you could get. But yeah, I really perplexed that this guy came out like that. And check it out. I had to go to the Epoch Times to find this. I didn't see it being covered anywhere else. And the interview that I read was via email between him and the Epoch Times reporter. So this isn't a farce. This isn't some right wings, whatever. They always want to call shit right wing, these people. But I'm just saying that not only did this guy, he fucking changed his mind, accepted, he changed his mind, okay? But he went public with changing his mind, and he went public with calling the whole thing a fraud. Is it a fraud? Is the whole thing a fraud? What do you guys think? I, personally myself, I think that so hypothetically, let's say that you don't choose the sexuality. Okay? Fair enough. I'll give you that. But what you do choose is the lifestyle. Okay? Meaning that if you're built like an NFL quarterback and you're 40 years old and kind of got the Sean Connery gray going on, but and you're built like a shit brick house, but you're wearing the fucking Daisy Dukes with the knee-high Doc Martens and jumping around and shit, fair enough. Hey, you can do whatever you want. You feel comfortable, go ahead and do that shit. But when people look at you and like what the fuck, it's like because you're not even like the little spriteful stereotypical gay guy. You're a big motherfucker and you've squeezed your ass into these very tiny girl clothes. And all I'm saying is, hey, you choose that part. Now, what gets me about that is that when you guys do that and choose to dress that way, there is a stigma attached and you got to either accept it or wear it. Like me with tattoos. I can't whine because I love my tattoos. And when I got my fucking tattoos, I already knew that there was a stigma, but I said, fuck it, I only get one life and fuck society. I was a little bit more youthful back then, but I still think it was the right decision, for the most part. But there are consequences. And one thing that's always gotten me about the gay community is that they act as if they are, that you can't criticize them. That, because what I'm saying right now is not coming from a place of hate. It's not coming from a place of malice. I do think it's fucking a bit ironic. And I do think, since that, I've had to go to pride parades where they're singing, my wife made me go to one of these things because she heard it was a great party, so I had to go with her and shit. But, I went and they were singing We Shall Overcome as they walked down the street. This is in Chicago. Fucking naked, 75 years old. 75 years old, put your shirt on. I'm sorry, put your fucking shirt on. We don't, there's kids there and shit. And so it's like, well, can't you find another way to express yourself than your fucking wiener hanging out of your underwear like that when you know that this is a parade that probably families are going to be at? So you choose that. You choose to wear that the same way that if I choose to get a gold grill like in the 90s and, sag the pants, talk like DMX, one of the best, by the way, and then get mad if people consider me dangerous or consider me a thug, I have to own that. I have to accept that because those things I did choose. Now, I'm not saying that, I'm not advocating saying don't dress the way you want to dress. Do whatever you need to do. Do whatever you fucking like. Wear what you dig. I'm just saying that you shouldn't be whining when shit flows downhill. You shouldn't be whining when shit flows downhill. Oh no, give me a... Oh, God. Calgon taking me away. I love being home. He's a salad later. So James Shoop. He opened up the floodgates. I'm telling you all about this. It's James Shoop. James. E-S. Last name Shoop. S-H-U-P-E. Epoch Times. I'm sure you probably don't even have to look on Epoch Times. You probably could just type it in Google and read this stuff for yourself. And when you do read the stuff for yourself, please What do you guys think? Is transgenderism, is homosexuality, is non-binary, is genderless, is fucking pans, all this shit? Is it a choice? Do some of you believe that it's biological? Do some of you believe that they have a mental disorder? Some refer to that as gender dysphoria. I'd like to know you all's comments, and please reply in the comments section about James Shoop. I would be very, very, very interested to know what you guys think. Again, just a little disclaimer. I'm not saying anything from a place of malice or hatred, but we should be able to talk about these things. Everybody wants to talk about the problem with blacks. Everybody wants to criticize, toxic masculinity and all this bullshit. So, hey, if you want to be treated like equals, well, here you go. We can criticize and speculate about you guys' quote unquote culture as well. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to sit on the couch and get ready to watch a movie, because I am going to start doing movie reviews as well. As a former thespian, I believe that I can at least provide some sort of different insight to these things, because I see a lot of shit ass stuff in these movies that people praise, and it makes absolutely no sense. But back to the point. If you like what you heard tonight actually, please rate, please comment, please share, please subscribe. It seems like, hit the like. I have to remind myself to do it with some of my favorite YouTubers. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it, whether you hate me or love me. If you want to share the video and be like, check out what he's saying, this coon, all that shit, do that too. Who cares what they say? Okay? Give the shit. But I do want to hear what you guys think about James Shoop's 360-degree saying, oh, my dick wasn't there. Oh, there it is. My name is Cliff London. And remember, there is no fate but what we make for ourselves. Have a good night and be safe, everybody.